So there we go. So let's jump right into the game right now. And so pitching for Oakland is Mike Fierez against Springer right now. And Fires actually has a 3.23 ERA, so he is doing very well. And he has actually been giving Houston a lot of trouble for these first 3 innings. So we are now actually in the top of the 4th. The count currently is 1-2, and the pitch, another ball, 2-2. So let's check out the board very quickly. If you look at my board right now, the only points that I have are coming from Houston's pitching. I have 12 points for Houston's pitching. So in the first 3 innings, Houston's batting has done absolutely nothing, which is horrible. Now, I probably went a little too aggressive when it came to picking the board, but when I looked at the batting averages between the 2 teams, even going with Simeon and Piscotty, they're not the best players. They didn't have the highest batting average that I felt comfortable enough that I wanted to leave them or put more Oakland A players in the game. So I definitely thought that, or I'm hoping that Houston has a little bit more offense and actually proves that they are the best team in the AL West. But I am currently ranked 5th overall, as you can see. And so Dr. Gill is ranked 1st, and you can see they have Chapman and Springer with 1.5, and Springer is up again, and there is a line drive to the 3rd baseman, and that is an easy out from Chapman to Matt Olson, and Oakland gets 1 away. So as you can see, Dr. Gill has 14.5 points. Now again, they have chosen Houston, but the only extra points that they have over myself is the single from Chapman and the walk, or when Springer got hit earlier in the game. So those are the only 2 points. So now Jose Altuve is up. Now Altuve is 0 for 1 on the day with a 306 average, a 927 on base percentage, and 22 home runs. And the first ball is low and outside, and that is a ball. And we are still in the top of the 4th with 1 away, and the score is 0-0. Now this is the game that we kind of figured that it would be. Now again, I am hoping for more offensive production from Oakland or from Houston, but obviously Oakland is number 2 in the AL West, and there's a strike right there. So the count is 1-1. But this is a game that I expected to be very good because I knew coming in, Fire's ERA is significantly lower. At 3.23 is significantly lower than what Houston's pitcher is. So I knew Houston batters, even though they have a great batting average, they would be struggling a little bit dealing with some of what they have. So and that's exactly what we're seeing here. We're seeing a complete shutout from both teams early in this game. But it's good. It's exciting. It's baseball. So baseball's a lot of nothing happens, and then all of a sudden everything happens, and it just goes, ooh, and there is a strike. So that is strike 3, and Jose Altuve goes down looking, and now is 0-2 on the day. Wow. And I believe that strike 3 is going to cost me some points. So I have gone down, as you can see, Jose Altuve is in that top right square for me, a critical place to get that diagonal bingo. And I have gone from 5th place down to 52nd place with 1 point loss. So you can see the point spread on this game, because it is 0-0, is extremely tight. And there's a curveball, low and inside, ball 1. So we do have Michael Brantley up. Michael Brantley, the left fielder, is 0 for 1 as well on the day, who is a 327 average. Ooh, and there's a swing on a changeup. That's strike 1. He does have a 910 on-base percentage and 16 home runs on the year, and he is in a very critical spot on my board. Now, here's the thing. My rule of thumb when I am picking boards is I tend to stick with batters who have a 300 above average batting average. I put them in the corners. I don't want to put somebody who has like a 260, or a 250 or something, even a 270 average. I don't want to put them in the corners because they are more important, right? Because of the diagonal bingos that you can get. So if you have a 300 average or above, I will put you in one of the corners because I assume I'm going to get a little more production out of you in order to get those bingos. Now that's not always the case, but I'm optimistic, and obviously Jose Altuve, who has had a phenomenal year so far this year. Hopefully he changes his luck and that he's able to produce something for us. So that's kind of the big thing that I'm focused on right now and kind of optimistic for as well. But we will have to see because, again, this is going to be a long, long game. And there's another foul ball. So the count is still 2-2, but there is 2 away. And we are, where are we on the batting order? So we are actually 3rd in the lineup. So we do have Alvarez. Wait, so Bregman's up, or Bregman will be coming up. Bregman's on deck. Alvarez is in the hole. So we still have 2 players. So even if we get the out here, if we get the out or if we don't, we're going to have more players on the board than the next inning. Ooh, and that is high and tight. So there's now a full count, 3-2. And there's 2 away. So Mike Fiers could get out of this inning. Again, clean, but there is 1 runner on base. Oh, there will be, I believe. And the 3-2 pitch, and that one's hit, just dabbles into left center field. And Chad Pinder gets it and holds the runner at second. So finally, we get some positive points on our bingo board that don't come from the pitching as Michael Brantley gets a single. As you can see in the replay, it's a low breaking ball, but Brantley is able to dig it out. And Chad Pinder slides to get to it. Yeah, you got to stop that momentum because once you got to be careful because if you commit way too early, then yeah, I can be in trouble. So as you can see on the bingo board as well, we did get the 1 point for Brantley getting the single, and that took us from 52nd place all the way up to 10th place with a score of 12 again. So again, it speaks to the, and there's a foul ball by Bregman. Bregman, who is 0 for 1, a 277 average, a 954 on-base percentage, and 28 home runs on the year. Bregman is in not a critical position on my board, but still a very vital position on my board. So if Bregman gets points here, that will set up a potential bingo with Simeon from the Oakland A's. And again, right now, because Houston's pitching is so high, that would be one that I really want to capitalize on. And they check the runner at first. So Bregman, 277, and so as I spoke to you before about the batting percentages, with a 277, it's definitely good enough and definitely should be a player you want on your board, but maybe not in a position where they're going to be in a diagonal. Ooh, and there's a fastball, low and outside, 92 miles an hour, ball 1. It'll be interesting to see as the season goes on kind of how Oakland is able to respond being 2 games back because they are still very much in the hunt for that wild card place. So I think this is the beginning of a 4-game series between the 2 teams. Ooh, and that is again low and outside. But this is the beginning of a 4-game series between the 2 teams, so it'll be very interesting to see, how this series plays out. Now, this I think will be one of those the series that really determines how the rest of the season will go. Now, I understand we are well past the trade deadline and everything, and the halfway point of the season. But when you're 2 games back, every win counts, and you need to get wins against those top-tier teams because that's going to determine potentially how far you can go in the playoffs. And if you can't beat a playoff team now, then and there's a drive deep to left field, and that one is gone. That one is gone, ladies and gentlemen. That is a home run from Alex Bregman. Fires through the ball. Bregman saw it coming and said, "You do not belong here. Let me get you back to your seat," and took him deep to left field, and that is huge. And Bregman will also get, so that is a 2-score run, and just like that, Houston goes up 2-0. Wow. Okay, so this is the kind of production that I was expecting out of Houston. And it did not happen for those first 3 innings. But now, with 2 away, Bregman goes deep and 2-run score. And Yordan Alvarez drives it to the second baseman and gets the easy out there. So that one is going to actually end the inning. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was a phenomenal inning. Wow. Okay, so a lot has happened there. So let's just quickly recap very quickly about what just happened there. So Bregman homered. That was his 29th home run of the day, or of the year. Wow, of the day, of the year. And then Yordan Alvarez, who is 0 for 2 with a 335 average, in the most critical part of my board in that bottom right-hand corner, with 17 home runs on the year, just grounded out to shortstop Marcus Semien, and then back to first baseman Matt Olson. So that was an easy out. So that ended the inning. And you can see Bregman, because of the RBI, because of the home run, gets 8 points on my board. And then Brantley, because he was one of the scored runs, gets another point. So now, if Yordan Alvarez had gotten a on base or something else, we would have had our first bingo of the day. So we are currently ranked 7th with 21 points. So we can actually take a look at the other players and see what's going on. And we can kind of get a feel for why they're up. So I have 21 points even, and first place is Mitchell with 23.5, so not very far off. And you can see they are missing players in their top right corner. They have chosen Oakland as their pitcher, which is, I believe, because it's 3 right now, it would have been negative points prior to ending the inning. But they would have had Bregman, Springer. So Springer, because earlier Springer did have 1.5 points. Bregman would have got them 8 points, and then the pitching would have got them the diagonal just coming out of the inning. So that would be where they got their one and only bingo count from. And again, when you're missing players, it does make it harder to kind of see if you can get out, like if you can perform at a high rate. So something to keep an eye on. And yeah, so we'll take a look at that as that goes on. Now, who else do we have? So we do have second place. Again, has gone with Oakland, but you can see Bregman, Oakland's pitching, and Springer. So that's been the bingo that's gotten people climbing the board. And let's see, Twitchy, looks like Bregman, Springer, still one bingo count, but we can... Okay, so it was a diagonal with Springer, Brantley. Okay. So prior to that last at-bat, Oakland's pitching would have had positive points, I would assume, and then it would have been the Brantley Springer. So that's where that one would have came from, I assume. Ooh, and there is a drive to deep center field off the wall, and George Springer has a hard time adjusting to it, and that'll be good for a double. So Robbie Grossman doubles off Aaron Sanchez. And again, Aaron Sanchez has a 5.47 ERA, and I was a little high, but again, I have more faith in the Houston offense than maybe this pitcher, at least, because again, Houston does have one of the best pitching lineups with Verlander, Cole, and Wade Millie. So I definitely had a lot of faith in Houston, and obviously there's a reason that they are second in the American League behind New York, and so it's hard not to back a winner. So again, my pitching did take a little bit of a hit there because of the double by Matt Chapman, or not Matt Chapman, but Robbie Grossman. But that's, again, I have enough points that I'm willing to take that as a W, if you will, or an L. But then we have Matt Chapman. Chapman is 1 for 1 with a 257 average, 859 on base percentage, and 27 home runs on the year. And we will actually, this will be, oh, and there's a quick one hopper, and that is going to be good. Oh, not in time, not in time. Oh my goodness. So Chapman one hops it back to Sanchez, and Sanchez can't make the throw to Jose Altuve. Ooh, and you can see, so that's one of the things that you have to really focus on. Now that was an athletic play by Sanchez to get back down, but the throw back to Altuve was too high and did not allow for him to get the throw back for the tag. So this is a good lesson in terms of if you're going to play ball, you know, for any of the kids watching, but you have to be able, placement of the ball when you have to get the tag is so critical. So if that ball is placed lower, Altuve doesn't have to, the time that it takes Altuve to go from here to there is gone, and that's going to save those seconds to get that out. So that's unfortunate. So now Oakland has the tying run on first and second, which should have been at least a 1 out, but there is no way. And we have Matt Olson up right now. So Oakland definitely not scared right now, being down 2-0. Again, because they are 2 games back, they still have a winning record, and they know that offensively they can come back from this game. And this will be a bit of a dogfight. So this game is far from over. But as you can see, again, I have dropped down to 11th place with 20 points overall. Ninja 91 is first. And again, they have Oakland, Bregman, Springer, so they would, and Chapman there. So that would have been their bingo, I believe, or at least one of them. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as the game goes on. We can see who else was up there now. Matt Olson is up at bat. He is 0 for 1 on the day. 256 average, 861 on-base percentage, and 23 home runs. But Valencia has 1 bingo. We can actually see what bingo that was. And that was a diagonal with Bregman, Chapman, and Oakland's pitching. So that would be a huge one because obviously Bregman did accumulate 8 points. Now, once Piscotty comes back up, we'll see if they can get another bingo with Oakland's pitching and George Springer. So, let's see. Who else is up? So, we have Matt Olson up. So, let's see if we can find somebody. Maybe we can find somebody with Olson. So, there's Matt Olson, but that would be, you know, it doesn't really matter when you don't have an additional board piece missing. That's just unfortunate. Where's Olson? Find somebody else with Olson. It's Olson. There we go. So Olson here, at least with Olson and Piscotty, they could get a potential bingo, a diagonal at that, or they'll be in line to get a horizontal or vertical if Korea is able to pull something off. So we can actually watch this board and just kind of get a feel for how they would play it out. Now again, Matt Olson with a 256 average. Ooh, and that is fouled deep to left field. Ooh, and that guy could not catch that, could not get a hold of that ball. So, you know, if you're going to catch it, if you're going to go to try to catch it when you're in the stands, like, you got to catch it. You can't just, like, drop it because, you know, I don't know. I think, like, if you're going to go for it, you got to pull it in. Otherwise, it just makes you look bad. It makes you look like you can't catch. And there's a reason that you're sitting in the stands and not on the field. Just saying. Just saying. Ooh. And that is a low and inside curveball. So the count is now full, 3-2. There is no outs, 2 runners on base, and Houston is up 2-0. So Matt Olson, if we can get a strikeout here, that would be huge for our board. And that would be very detrimental to this person, Kazakhs. I guess it's Kazakhs. The 3-2 pitch, and that one is popped deep to left center, and Michael Brantley is there, and that one, oh my goodness, that one is gone. So wow, huge change of events here. Wow. Okay, so Oakland now goes up 3-2 over Houston off that Matt Olson home run. Now again, like we've talked about this before, he has a 258 batting average, and I wouldn't put him in a critical position, which is one of my diagonal board pieces. But that is phenomenal. Like, good for him. So that's going to be huge. And we will see Kazakhs. They're currently ranked 8th, but let's just take a look at where they are after that. So as you can see, I have dropped all the way down to 80th place, and we can take a look at where Kazakhs is. Oh, Kazakhs isn't even up there either. Wow. That's how many players. So Kazakhs actually dropped, but still 9.5 points for Matt Olson. And that sets up a huge bingo diagonally for Kazakhs. If Piscotty can do something, that would be huge. So wow, just like that. And again, as I mentioned before, this was going to be a dogfight between these two teams because they are both the top two teams in the AL West. And Oakland has something to prove, and that's to prove that they belong in the playoffs because they are 2 games back from the wild card right now. So maybe they can moneyball their way out of this, but I cannot believe how fast that changed, and I just dropped out of points, going from 20 points back down to 13 because my pitching score took a massive, massive hit there. So again, this is the kind of game that we were to expect, and it'll be interesting now to see how Houston responds to that, and specifically Aaron Sanchez. Again, he does have a 2.68 ERA, and that was something that did give me some concern going into this game. But I genuinely do believe in Houston's offensive firepower, and I believe that that's going to be enough to bring them back. So I think, and again, this is a very close game, so I'm not too worried. You can see that exit velocity is 102.3 miles per hour, and that is huge. Anything over 100 miles, and you can pretty much say goodbye to that ball. And there's a deep drive to center field again by Chris Davis, but this time George Springer is there for the catch, and we only have 1 away. So Chris Davis flies out to George Springer. Wow, and that could have been close. That was almost back-to-back home runs. But you can see as soon as Chris Davis lets that one go, he knows that it's just not far enough. But George Springer is there to get that out. So let's see if we can. Let's take a look at Nicholas. So I believe they would have had Chapman, Olson, and the pitching, as well as Springer pitching and Bregman. So that Olson hit would have been huge. So that would have been really big for them. So that's where they got their bingos right there. So again, we're going to see a lot of Olson and Bregman. That's kind of how this has been played out. Again, 1 bingo count, so that would have been it right there. But let's see who's okay. So Stephen Piscotty. So let's see if anyone's got Piscotty in a very good position. I actually have Piscotty. But at this point, I think I might let him take that -1 point, and then I can get some more points on my pitching because I kind of need that. The pitching to me is a lot more important than the that middle board piece right there, personally. Let's see, Scotty. Have to wait on that one. Actually, we do know somebody who does have Piscotty, and that would be, where is it? Kazakhs. Right there. Yeah, so Kazakhs currently 31.25 points in 15th place. 1 bingo, but is going to be good for another bingo if this one is not. But Bregman is there, makes the toss to Yuri Gurel, and that is an easy out. So that is 2 away right now. So Kazakhs' second bingo, which would have been a diagonal, as you can see on the board with Piscotty, the Oakland pitching, and Matt Olson, will have to wait at least another inning before we see that one again. But there is now 2 away, and Corbin Joseph is up, who is 0 for 1 on the day, as a 200 batting average and a 367 on-base percentage with no home runs this year. So we're getting to the bottom half now of Oakland's batting. And there's another drive to deep right center field, and that one is gone. Oh my gosh, so there we go. Corbin Joseph with his first home run of the season. Wow, 1 for 2 on the day. Now has a 333 batting average, and Oakland goes up 4-2 over Houston. And this could be a huge change of events for the game. And I know my board is suffering significantly right now as a result. So let's quickly take a look at what's happening on mine. As you can see, I have lost all the points that I gained from that Houston pitching. has gone from 12 points all the way back down to 1. So I am still in the positive, but we have to worry about Aaron Sanchez now. Ooh, and there's a strike. But Aaron Sanchez has to get out of this inning now. And Houston has to wonder how early they have to go to their bullpen. And I can tell you right now, this early was not what they wanted to do. But you have to be careful. And again, Aaron Sanchez's ERA is significantly higher than a lot of these other players. And they're just able to very, very easily pick off his pitches at this point. So they're starting to get a read for him. And that's got to be worrying if you're Houston. But there's another strike, swinging strike. So that was a changeup. So the count is now 1-2. So Chad Pinder is up. He is 0 for 1 on the day with a 525 average, or a 550, or 525, a 252 average. Ooh, and there's another changeup, but that one's in the dirt. Count is 2-2. 747 on base percentage, 11 home runs on the year. There is 2 away, and the score is Oakland 4, Houston 2. Now, in previous games, we've seen it now where the manager gets a little, uptight, and he'll pull a player or a pitcher after 4 runs have been scored. Ooh, and that one goes right down the center. But that's a great catch by Jose Altuve to get the ball back to Yuri Gurriel. And that's 2 away, or 3 away, sorry. So that one ends the inning. But what an inning for Houston. That was obviously not what they wanted. And I can tell you right now, that's not what I wanted. But it'll be very good to see kind of how Houston is able to respond now offensively to that onslaught that Oakland just put up 4 runs in an inning. So again, we've talked about this before. It will be a dogfight for this game. So again, I am in 80th place currently out of, I think there's probably about 100 people. Okay, so there's 87 players, and I am currently ranked 80th overall. But you can tell, I'm pretty sure we can find that point. It's got to be around here somewhere. Yeah, Oakland, okay. But yeah, so we can take a look at first place. So, Olsen pitching, who else? Bregman, Springer. So they have 2 bingos, and it's got to be just the vertical and the diagonal. I would be very, very surprised if anybody had Corbin Joseph on their board. I could be wrong, but that would be something that would be interesting. We could probably try to go through it and take a look, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. But let's take a look at who else is up in the front. So Chapman, let's see. So they have 1 bingo count, and we can take a look. So it is actually diagonal there. So the Olsen, Oakland pitching, and Alex Bregman. So again, that was a very, very popular lineup. So I'm not surprised that that's kind of where a lot of people have had their bingos. Again, I just happened to not go with Olsen. I didn't think that him coming into the season with like a 250 batting average was something that I necessarily wanted to take a chance on, and that is the risk that you take because, again, we have talked about this time and time again. The mathematical improbabilities that you think of or see become commonality in baseball because of the pure number of plays and pitches and at-bats and all of that you see. So mathematical improbabilities become highly probable in baseball. But again, I have a lot of faith in Houston and what they're able to bring to the game. Ooh, and there's a strike. So that was a 89-mile-an-hour fastball. And that one, so the count is 1-1. So Carlos Correa is up. He is 0 for 1 on the day with a 285 average, 918 on-base percentage, and 17 home runs as he just fouls away. So he is on my board. And again, would line up a pretty decent bingo if I can get him to do something. But we can see who else has him. Let's see. Oh yeah, first place did have him. So Nicholas does have Correa, but is uneligible for any bingos, including the diagonal. Ooh, and there is a deep to center field. And that one is gone. There we go. Look at that. Carlos Correa. So this is the mindset that Houston has, and the reason that they are in the top of the AL West and second in the American League is because they are able to respond like a champion when the game is down like this. So Oakland goes up and scores 4 runs, and and Carlos Correa comes up and sees the ball and says, "You don't belong here. Let me take you back to your seat," and sends it deep to center field. And we are consistently just trading hits, deep shots. And I am glad if you have tuned into this game, this is one that you do not want to miss right now. This is the game that you want to see. So, and even more exciting, we have Yuri Gurriel back up, who he is 0-1 for the day, but he has a 306 average and 25 home runs on the year. So if anybody else is going to be the encore to Carlos Correa, it will be Yuri Gurriel. And that one is fouled away, so the count is 0-2. Now, as you can see on my board, I've gone from 80th to 65th place with 19.5 points now, thanks to Correa's home run, and I do have Gurriel in a diagonal position. So if we take a look, though, at the rank, we can see kind of, so Nicholas is still on first because he does also have Carlos Correa. Ooh, and there is another deep shot to left field, but it's just foul, and it looks like that child might have been hit by the ball. So let's see who else. Wow, they have a very good board going on right now. So we are looking for Yuri Gurriel. And again, Gurriel is in a very critical spot for me in that diagonal position. And here we go, Gurriel, but again, not in a position that can actually do much. And it's good that we're seeing, oh, there's Gurriel right here. So Blitzcrank does have Gurriel in a diagonal position. Again, missing 3 players, so not eligible for a diagonal, but right now is going to get a vertical bingo with Chapman and Correa, which would be huge. So if Gurriel can even get on base, that's going to be a big bingo. So we'll see how high their rank goes from 5th to wherever. Ooh, and did they check? Oh, and the first base umpire says that that is not a strike. So Gurriel able to pull back, and that is another ball. Yeah, as you can see, that one was tight and inside. So the count is 2-2. It's another ball. So 3-2 off a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. So Gurriel, again, 0-for-1 on the day. Houston is down 4-3 against Oakland. The count is 3-2. We're in the top of the 5th, and there's no aways. The 3-2 pitch, and Gurriel gets a piece of it, and that gets just past Joseph Corbin, and that's good for a single. So Gurriel gets on base, which is huge because Blitzcrank now gets the bingo. So let's check the score. So they have 36.7 points, and they are currently ranked 5th. Now after that single, let's see how that affects their score. We can see, because Gurriel will score on my board as well. So once that updates, then we will check the board. There we go, 1 point, and I will take that 1 point. We go to rank, and Blitzcrank goes from 4th to 5th, and does go up a little bit with that bingo, but they do have 2 bingo counts. So again, the point score, I've gone up to 61st place now. So you can kind of see how the point spread is so tight still. All right, so Robinson Chirinos is up. So he is 0-for-1 on the day with a 232 average, 769 on base percentage, and 13 home runs. So he is not on my board, but let's see if we can, ooh, and they check the runner. See if we can find somebody with Chirinos. I don't actually remember seeing him on a lot of players' boards. Now again, we are on that bottom half of the lineup, so it usually becomes the lower you get in the lineup. Oh, right there, Chirinos. Let's just keep it here just because at least... But the problem is, Chirinos is obviously in a very critical spot for them, being in that diagonal position, as we've talked about before, because the diagonal is worth that 1.5. So that's where you want to get your main points, and that's where a lot of these players on the board who are in the lead are getting a majority of their points is from these diagonal bingos. But Gurriel should have had the point there. Let's just double check. Oh, okay, so that's what happened. So they just got the bingo with Gurriel, the pitching, and Bregman, the horizontal one. So that's why Gurriel is not highlighted here right now. Same with Matt Olson, because they got the horizontal with Correa, Chapman, and Olson as well. So, but Chirinos, considering how well Gurriel and Olson have been playing today, Chirinos could at least light it up for maybe another inning, and hopefully you want to bank that bingo for later on in the game. And again, they check the runner. So the count is 1-2. And Mike Fiers, again, 3.39 ERA, but has been shown to have weaknesses here. And Chirinos 0 for 2 on the day, 231 average. Needs to do something here. Be great if he could do something here. Ooh. And Chirinos goes down swinging on a high fastball. And that's one away. So Chirinos did not, I mean, at least he went for it. That high fastball is a tough one because when you see the ball coming, you assume that at certain points it's going to break and come down. But obviously, when it is that fastball, it's not going to break as much, and you end up just underswinging it. So one of the things that you need to be aware of, obviously, as a batter. But I digress. So Josh Riddick is up now. Josh Riddick is 0 for 1 on the day. He's got a 267 average, 697 on-base percentage, and 10 home runs on the year. Now, again, there is one away. There is one on base. Or the tying run is on first right now for Houston. So Josh Riddick could be a hero and bring this game back. And there it goes to deep center field. But Chad Pinder is there for the out, so that is now 2 away. So Josh Riddick was quick up and down on one pitch, and we have 2 away. So I believe we will start going back down through the lineup, which will bring Springer back up, but I don't believe I have Springer on my board. As you can see, the board fluctuates so very much. And Basics 151 is now in the lead for bingo, and they have a score of 44.15, but that is based, so they have a vertical bingo and a diagonal bingo on the board, as you can see, and they check the runner. And that throw was just wild, but the runner stays at first. So you can see they had Bregman, Oakland's pitching, Correa, and then Yuri Gurriel, Oakland's pitching, and Matt Olson. And again, Olson was that surprise home run earlier in the game. So, again, these things happen when it comes to baseball. And so one of the reasons that's holding me back, I would say, in terms of my board, is just the fact that we haven't actually connected a bingo yet. So Jordan Alvarez, if he could do something massive, that would be huge for my board. And that is a high slider. The count is 1-0. Man, yeah, because if Brantley, Houston's pitching, and then Jordan Alvarez, I would get the diagonal, but then I would also get the horizontal with Yuri Gurriel, Bregman, and that Bregman with 8 points is worth a lot. Ooh, and there is a foul ball. So, and that brings Springer to his knees on that swing, but he does get a piece of it. But we can see who else has George Springer, because I do not have Springer on my board. And there again, but can't really do much with that. Nicholas does have Springer, but can't do much with that one either. Elizabeth. Springer would be a good one. And there's a drive to right field, but Steven Piscotty is there, and that is the out. So that is now 3 away. So Oakland gets out, but very sorry about that, does give up 1 run. And Houston comes within 1, and we are going to go to the bottom of the 5th inning now. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how both pitchers are able to respond now, and how both teams respond, because obviously there's going to be some sort of differing on how they go over the next few innings. Now, again, after giving up 4 runs in the last inning, I personally, I would want to pull Houston's pitcher. I don't know if they will. We did see earlier they did have some of the pitchers warming up in the bullpen, which they always do, obviously. But I think that when it comes to a situation like this, there's always times where you have to bring these guys in earlier than you want to. we've seen games where guys have been pulled in the first inning because they've given up 4 or 5 runs, or even 6 runs. And so when you're this close, you want to have a lot more consistency with your pitching. So they might bring a guy in to pitch 1, maybe 2 innings and then get him out of there so they can bring him back much faster for a different game that they might want him to be in. But we can like go back to the boards and just take a look kind of what's going on with everybody. And as you can see, I am currently 73rd place with a score of 20.58. No, 20.5 flat. But again, a majority of the reason why my score is significantly low is because I haven't connected bingos yet. So again, if Houston's pitching does phenomenal this inning and we get something with Alvarez in the next inning, that will load up a lot of bingos. Well, at least 2 bingos. So it'll get me back into the fight. So that's kind of the important thing for me at this point. And basics, again, 47.15 points is in first place and can get, like, if Simeon can do something, then that would be interesting. But Aaron Sanchez is still in the game. Again, 5.71 ERA, so it's a little higher than I would like personally in terms of choosing a player, but I did believe in Houston's offensive firepower. So, ooh, and there's a beautiful strike on that one on a changeup. Chris Herman is up. Herman is 0 for 1 on the day. He has a .212 batting average, .591 on base percentage, and 1 home run. So we are at the very bottom of Oakland's batting order. So it might be difficult to actually find somebody who has him on their board, but we can actually take a look at some of these lower level players and see if anybody has him. Because I can tell you he probably won't be on the higher end. Herman. Ooh, low and inside. Let's see. There's just a lot of names here, a lot of new names, which is great to see here. Edith. Nope. Wow, that player does have a lot of bingos lined up, though. That's kind of the problem, like I said, because even if I get my bingo, I know a lot of other people will get other bingos as well. Ooh. It's a high fastball. High and outside. So that is ball 3. So the count is 3-2. Again, Chris Herman is 0 for 1 on the day. Bottom of the 5th. Oakland leads 4-3 over Houston. And the 3-2 pitch. And that one's fouled away. Man, I need Houston's pitcher to start throwing strikeouts because he hasn't been, and that's killing my board because I was up, way higher, and I think what was the first place again? First place is 47 points. Like I'm already 27, almost 30 points out of first place right now. That's not good. That's not good at all. 73rd, it's not good. So there was another foul ball. So the count remains 3-2. And again, Aaron Sanchez, I'm not feeling it right now. The 3-2 pitch is very, 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 very far outside on an off-speed pitch. And that's ball 4. And so they walk him, and my pitching score takes another hit, and I have now dropped under 20 points for my total score. But we do have Marcus Semien up now. And again, if Semien gets even on base, I will get a bingo with Bregman, the Houston pitcher, and Semien. But if I'm being completely honest in terms of strategy, that's not the bingo that I want. And Semien drives it to third base and go to second, and that's the out. Oh, but not in time, and Semien gets on base. They get one away, but the throw to first is not in time, and you can see Houston's manager is on the phone, so it looks like we will be coming up. Great defensive play by Alex Bregman and awareness to make the throw to second, but the throw to first was not in time. Ooh, you know what? I think they might have to review that one. They might have to review that one because I think right You can't see it there, but I think from the other angle, I think he just got him. They might have to review that one. They are. Look at that. It's very interesting how instant replay has not completely, but instant replay has made such a difference in the game. Now I think that it's important, but at the same, and let's get a good look at this. Right there, it's in his possession, and then he touches the bag. So that is an out. So that's going to be 2 away, not just 1. So that is a great double play by Houston. So I'm just going to call it right now. So that means Simeon does not get the on-base point, and in return, I do not get the bingo. So in a certain aspect, be careful what you wish for, because I got what I didn't want, or I got what I wanted, but it will cost me points. And I will get no points out of it either, because Houston's pitching didn't get the out. So, again, and even if Piscotty gets on base, that would be something. So, I believe we have Grossman coming up. So now there is 2 away. Now that they have sorted that out, and there's a ball fouled out down the first baseline. That was a great defensive play by the ball boy coming onto the field. So Robbie Grossman, who did have a huge shot earlier in the game, is 1 for 2 on the day, 252 average, 723 on base percentage, and 6 home runs. So my pitching, again, is taking that hit. Does only have 2.5 points, down from 12. So that extra 10 points would put me much higher than 78th overall. But let's check the boards, because I don't have Grossman. But let's see who does have Grossman. Might be interesting to see who does. Nicholas. Especially if we have somebody who has it. Grossman. Why does nobody have Grossman? I feel bad for him now. Nobody wanted to pick him. Grossman. Because he had a great home run earlier. But that feels like a lifetime ago, just because of the kind of game that it's been with just non-stop action. Ooh! And they are going to call that one strike 3, and Grossman goes down. But I will take it. And that is awesome. So that is now 3 away to end the 5th inning, and Houston does not let any more runs score, which is great that they have stopped their offensive production. So now Houston needs to come back and start doing more offensively. So let's take a look at the boards and get a feel for where everybody is. And that will definitely help. As you can see, I'm still, even with an additional 7 or 5 points, my rank is still only 82nd overall, but we do have, let's see what the board says. So Basics is still in first with a score of 54.15. Again, only two bingos, but those were huge bingos. Again, you had the diagonal, and that with Matt Olson having a 3-run homer. So that was, I think, 9 points, 10 points, and then Bregman through Korea. So the bingos that people have gotten have been huge, and that's one of the reasons why they've been so effective. So who do we have up? I believe it's going to be Jose Altuve, but I could be wrong there. But I need bingos, and that's kind of the biggest thing that I need right now. So if Yordan Alvarez could produce something, that would give me 2 bingos, and I believe that would really skyrocket my points up the board. But it's interesting, again, out of 87 people, if I get those 2 bingos, because my bingo count is currently at 0, how fast this game can turn around. And so that's one thing that, especially with a game that is this close, a lot can happen. So I am not too worried. Even, 50 points sounds like a lot, but once they start, some of those players don't make the right, plays, it's very easily for our players to start making a comeback. So something to be aware of. Ooh, and there's a strike. So Jose Altuve is 0 for 2 on the day, but does have a 305 average, a 924 on base percentage, and 22 home runs. Ooh, gets a piece of it, but that one is fouled away. So Altuve can get me a bingo here. It's diagonal bingo with Yuri Gurriel. Houston's pitching. But again, we've talked about this before. If he does get on base, even if he gets on base, if he gets a single, that will only give me 1 point. And you can see, because of the strikeout he had 2 innings ago, that would now only be a 1 point score, it would negate the minus and give me 0. As he fouls away again, so the count remains 0-2. So Jose Altuve on the day, 0 for 2, with an 0-2 count. Not looking great right now. And Houston is 4-3. Or Houston is down 4-3 against Oakland. The 0-2 pitch. Ooh, and Altuve gets a piece of it, but it is just fouled away down the left baseline. So let's see who else has Altuve. Basics. Does not have Altuve. Nicholas Altuve. Does not have Altuve. See, I figured that with his batting average, there would be more players with him. Kind of blows my mind. Yeah, this is crazy. Ooh. Low and outside as Altuve picks up the ball and hands it to the umpire, who casually tosses it away. Altuve. See, this is a surprise that nobody would have Altuve, and I actually have him in a very critical position on my board. But, to each their own. Again, fouled away. Altuve. So, if Altuve does do really good here, that would actually... as much as I say I don't want the points, it would still give me a lot of points. And I think I have to take advantage of the fact that I have Altuve, whereas a lot of players clearly don't have him on their board. So if he can get some points, that's points that nobody else is getting. And taking away points from players who have... Ooh, and there's a drive right back to the pitcher. Fires, and he tosses it very, very casually back to Matt Olson. And that's 1 away. So that did not go as I thought. But again, be careful what you wish for. So I keep missing out points. But that bingo of Jordan Alvarez is still very much alive. And that is what we are going for. And that's what we are hoping for. And Alvarez will be up in... we should be able to see Alvarez this inning. Now, Michael Brantley is coming up, who is in our top left corner, and again, getting more points. If we can bank more points with him, that would be phenomenal. Brantley is 1 for 2 on the day with a 329 batting average, 912 on base percentage, and 16 home runs on the year. But again, he's going to be a very popular player. Where is he at? That one drives it deep center field. And again, that one is gone, and Brantley gets his 17th home run of the year. Saw the ball, said, "Get back to your seat, let me help you," and drove it deep to center field. And Houston has now tied the game 4-4 in the top of the 6th. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of offensive production that you can expect out of Houston, and the reason that they are leading the AL West. And they are telling Oakland very firmly that you better recognize we are number 1 in the AL West, and this is why. And as I was mentioning before, we have my board. I have now skyrocketed back up the board from 80th to 34th. So as we've talked about before, the point spread is so ridiculous here. And Bregman does not get to first in time. So Bregman drives it to Marcus Semien, and Semien is able to make the throw to first in time. So Bregman goes up and down, and we have 2 away. I'm sorry, that was Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman with the play. A great defensive play, and off the turnaround makes that good throw, an accurate throw, which is huge. As you can see here, just spins, identifies his target, and makes a perfect throw back to Matt Olson. That is just great technique and great awareness. So we do have Yordan Alvarez now. Alvarez needs to get a hit here. Ooh, and there's a strike. That's a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Low and inside, but still strike. So, as you can see on my board, I am currently 34th overall with a score of 30.5, 0 bingos, but this would give me 2 massive, massive bingos. So Alvarez needs to get on base right now. That is going to be crucial for me. Yeah, I need this one because then I'll get the horizontal with Yuri Gurriel, Alex Bregman, and Alvarez, and then Alvarez pitching and Michael Brantley, who now has 8.5 points. Houston has 7.5 points. Bregman has 5, so that would be times 1.2 and times 1.5. And there's a second strike. That one I thought was a little low and outside, but they're going to call that one a strike off a 74-mile-an-hour breaking ball. But Alvarez has been struggling. 0 for 3 on the day, 333 average. And that's strike 3, so that ends the inning. So Alvarez goes down on that high fastball. Again, I've talked about before, that high fastball is the one that you really have to watch for as a batter because it just doesn't break. And unfortunately, my bingo will have to wait for at least another inning. That is not what I needed at all. That really sucks. So the best we can hope for, I think, now is if, who is it? Marcus Semien can maybe do something special, at least get on base, and that would give me Marcus Semien, Houston's pitching, and Bregman, or Steven Piscotty. That would be acceptable as well, I think, in my position. So in either case, I would take those. If I get Piscotty, I would actually get 2. I would get the vertical bingo as well as the horizontal one. So that one I think is more ideal. I would take that one, at least get 2 bingos so I can get higher on the board. But as you can see, that -1 drops me all the way down to 57th. So again, not a lot of disparity in terms of points, but we can go back to the board and take a look at what's going on and see where everybody is. And Basics 151 is still in the lead with a score of 49.15 points. So as you can see, after that home run, their score has gone down a little bit. Actually, if you look at their board, though, they would be eligible for a bingo with Chapman, the pitching, and Semien. So I actually don't know if I want Semien to get a hit, but we'll have to see because I don't know where we are in terms of the batting lineup yet. I think we might be at Chapman, but I think we will see. Yes, we are going to be at Chapman, so we will see Piscotty, providing it's not 3 up, 3 down. We will see Piscotty, so that will be good. There we go. So Aaron Sanchez is still in the game, to my surprise. Ooh. And that is a very, very high fastball, 90 miles an hour. Count is 1-0. So let's see who has Chapman, because I do not have Chapman. And there we go. Chapman drives it deep to left field, and that one is gone. And again, Oakland responds to Houston's threats. And at this point, you have to pull Sanchez. You have to pull Sanchez because this is getting ridiculous. Like, Houston is matching Oakland, and Oakland refuses to go down without a fight. And again, you can see their determination as they are 2 games back right now in the wild card. So they are fighting for their postseason lives right now. And you can see how bad Oakland wants it. So Matt Olson drives it deep for his 24th home run. Or sorry, Matt Chapman drives it deep for his 24th home run. and that's going to drop my score down significantly. That's unfortunate. So I was at 50th, I think, and now I'm back down to 84th because my pitching has taken a massive hit. So that's unfortunate. So we will have to see, because I believe this will be Aaron Sanchez's last inning in the bottom of the 6th. Personally, I would have pulled him after he let those 4 runs score, but Houston has left him in there, and I think that that's a good learning experience for him to how to come back. And oh my gosh, is that fair or foul? I can't tell. Oh my gosh. So there goes another one. Back-to-back home runs. Matt Olson now 2 for 3. Goes deep for his 25th home run, and Oakland goes up 6-0. And you have got to pull Sanchez now. Sanchez cannot stay in the game. This is ridiculous, but this is exactly what Oakland wants and needs right now. And we will have to see what happens, because I am just like, I cannot believe what's happening right now. Sanchez is blowing this game, has blown this game. And if it was up to me, Sanchez would no longer even be on the team for Houston after this performance, because this is embarrassing. But they have kept Sanchez in the game, and Chris Davis is up, and Chris Davis goes to center field. But boom, George Springer is there, and that is now 1 away. Oh my goodness. Pull Sanchez. Hashtag pull Sanchez. Hashtag cut Sanchez. Hashtag, I don't know. Like, this is, come on. Like, dang it. So, Houston needs to come back offensively. Now, they have the ability to come back offensively. Yeah. So, first pitch to Steven Piscotty is a ball. Had to get the first base umpire to make that call. 0-1 pitch. Ball 2. So, Piscotty, now we are 87th overall with a score of 23.5, but we will get 2 bingos if Piscotty gets on base. So we can see, and Elizabeth has now taken the lead, and I believe they would have got another bingo. So they have 1 horizontal, or 2 horizontals and 1 diagonal. Again, Olsen, Chapman right there, Bregman, Springer, Chapman. So I'm not sure in which order they got those, but that would have been a huge. Oh, and there is ball 4, and Aaron Sanchez walks Steven Piscotty. So now my score is going to go up. We can actually take a look here. We will get 2 bingos now. We will get the horizontal and we will get the vertical. And right there, boom, boom, boom. So basically what happens is I completely got screwed over there because Houston's pitching had taken such a hit. I actually don't get the horizontal bingo with Houston's pitching because that score went down to 0 after that walk. So the worst case scenario I think I could have had has now played out, and Aaron Sanchez is ruining my board. I believe there's 87 people in this game, and I am currently ranked 86th because Houston has given up 6 runs in this absurd game. And Sanchez needs to not be on the team anymore. With only 1 away, Oakland has gone from a tie game to up 2 runs. But Joseph Corbin, 1 for 2 on the day, got his first home run of the season earlier in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out now and how his confidence is, especially with Sanchez's confidence, got to be struggling. And there's a drive down to shallow left field. And Corbin gets on base. So now Oakland has 2 on base, 1 runners at first and second in scoring position. And they're up 6-0 with 1 away. You can see Corbin just kind of casually swings at it, just digging it out of the dirt. Looks very reminiscent of how Ichiro used to hit, and it looks like finally, Houston gets their head out of there, and we end up pulling Sanchez finally, because that is not what we needed. And I can tell you right now, that has cost my board significantly. We go back and check it out. So I am now -1 for batting, and I believe I am now last place because Houston's pitching has given me minus points. But let's take a look at the board and see where everybody else is. We can actually go all the way down. I am currently last place. And again, am I the only person that picked Houston to win? I might be the only person to pick Houston to win again, and that's really weird. That's really weird. Yeah, I might be the only person to choose Houston. Yeah, so I'm good with that though. I'm gonna have faith in Houston now that Aaron Sanchez is out of the game. I'm happy with that. That's kind of the biggest thing for me, I think, at this point. He was a huge problem for me personally. I did not like the way that he was kind of handling a lot of those pitches. And at this, like I said, you let 4 runs score, I'm getting you out of the game. Like, it's simple. Like, I would have, like, that's, okay, so here's the thing. If I'm ever coaching, my rule, you let 4 runs, you're out. You're done. 4 runs and you're done. Like, especially in 1 inning. If it was 4 runs over 4 innings, 4 runs over 6 innings, you know, it's different. It's like, okay, well, it depends, obviously, at that point, how we're doing offensively. And, like, that's going to be that kind of that main thought process that I have, at least. But right now, it's like, how do you give up 4 runs in an inning? But then, okay, so here's the thing. At this point, I am not, like, okay, I was talking a lot of trash about Aaron Sanchez, but it's really Houston's management. Because, yeah, he let 4 runs in an inning go. You could have waited, let him get out of the inning, pulled him then, but no, you leave him in the game, you leave him in the game, and he gives up another 2 runs, like back-to-back home runs. It's idiotic, like it's genuinely idiotic. But again, you have to I think that what's happening is because the playoffs are coming up, you don't want to go through your bullpen and just completely eviscerate it with and then you have to wait X amount of games or days for players to recover and stuff like that. So I think that's why they left him in there. But obviously, like, I'm last place right now because I'm the only person who chose Houston. So Hector Rondon is now in the game. There's 1 away. Runners up first and second. Oakland is up 6-2. Rondon has a 3.86 ERA, so hopefully he can close out this game and get the save here. Now Chad Pinder is 0 for 2 on the day with a 251 average, 744 on base percentage on 11 home runs on the year, and the count is okay, that's a strike there. So the count is 2-2 with 1 away. So what we need here, at least, is a big throw from Hector Rondon and get the strike. So currently 2-2. Maybe throw a breaking ball in there. The 2-2 pitch, and that is popped up, and there is 1 out right at second. Great play, or great double play. So, boom, just like that, Hector Rondon comes into the game, and they get a double play, and that is good. That is good to end the inning. So, that is the end of the 6th inning, and we will actually go to the 7th because I think this game is going to be very, very exciting as it goes on. But we will check the boards and just get a feel for kind of what's happening. And you can see my pitching has gone from minus back up to the positive. So I got 3 points at the end there because they got out of the inning. So I'm not last place anymore, but I'm too dang close there that I'd rather not be there. And again, I messed up my bingos now because of the Houston pitching. So Aaron Sanchez, I will never go to a game with Aaron Sanchez again. It is that simple. All right. So Elizabeth has a score of 84.85, 4 bingo counts, and I believe it was 2 diagonals, and then the 2 horizontals. Now, we've talked about missing players before. Now, it's obviously very detrimental to miss any players on your board, but as you can see, if you were going to miss players, this is a very, very good example of the players or the positioning of the tiles that you want to be missing, where you do have them on the outsides, but they're not in diagonals. So as you can tell, we can actually look at the bingo count. Yeah, so they actually have 2 diagonals, and the diagonals are where you're going to get the most points. And we've said that time and time again, but that's the ones that you don't want to have missing players. And, you know, like clearly it's worked very well for Elizabeth. So let's just take a look at who else we have on the board. Kalia Hope. I don't know. But 73.8, ranked second, 4 bingo counts, and we can get a look at there. So 2 vertical right down the middle, and then 2 horizontal on the bottom 2 lines. So Bregman, Gurriel pitching, Chapman, Brantley, Springer, and then Olsen, Brantley, and pitching. So again, is now eligible for a 5th bingo, providing Oakland pitching does get at least a strikeout. So we will have to see how that one plays out. And we have Carlos Correa back in the game. 1 and 2 on the day, 288 average, 18 home runs, and 933 on base percentage. And Fires is still in the game as well. Still has a 3.4 ERA and has given up 4 runs. So it'll be interesting to see how Houston responds to Oakland's advances. Ooh, and that pitch goes wild, but that is still a strike. So the count is 2-1. So I have Correa on my board, who does have 6.5 points. So it would be a shame if he strikes out and I lose points there. But let's see if somebody else has Correa. Won't get them any points. Correa, nope. Oh wait, there we go. That would have actually been a good one. Dang it, where was it? PS. There we go. Yeah, so let's see if Correa can, and Correa gets a piece of it. Deep left field, and boom, and again, what a game do we have here now. Oh my gosh. So Houston answers Oakland, and Correa for a second time today goes deep and sends the ball back to his seat, and Houston is only down now by 1 run to Oakland 6-5. What a game. Wow, and it looks like there will be a mound visit, and they might pull Fires now. Wow, so as you can see, Correa has 13 points for me right now, and that will be huge, and hopefully Houston's pitching can change it around. Now again, a lot of players did have Correa on their board, but my rank has gone from 86 to 80th now, so we just need a few more points, but we will see kind of how that plays out. That one is huge. And Yuri Gurriel will be on the mound, and he is on my board. And again, I won't be eligible for a bingo, but at this point, we need to start accumulating points and start getting that all in order so we can at least get the chance to get more points. That's kind of my plan, at least. But we will have to see how that plays out. But let's go to the boards. So again, I have 33.1 points with 1 bingo, and that's been my limiting factor, is my 1 bingo, where if you look at Elizabeth, does have 4 bingos now. But they're, like everybody else, is taking a hit when it comes to their score because they're Oakland pitching. See, there we go. So Correa has 6.5. Chapman has 6.5, so I believe BSBBBBB will get a bingo at the end of the inning, providing Oakland does not give up any more runs. But that one will be a huge one too, because I don't believe. Oh yeah, I mean if they give up more runs, it might be interesting. So as you can see, Fires is probably just as upset as Sanchez was. Both pitchers not having the best day out there, both giving up a complete total of 11 runs. But now we have Yusmeiro Petit, and he has a 264 batting average, 3-2 on the year, has appeared in 60 games this season. Yeah, so he is going to, with a 264 ERA, he will be a tough pitcher to hit against. But we do have Yuri Gurriel up, who is 1 for 2 on the day and has a 307 average, an 898 on-base percentage, and 25 home runs. So with no outs, let's see if Gurriel, who has been on fire this summer, let's see how he can respond. And there is a foul ball on an 85 and a half mile cut. Wait, 85 and a half mile per hour cutter. The count is 0-1. I'm gonna have to practice that and get that all in order. But Gurriel is on my board. But let's just see who else is on. Who else has Gurriel? Low and outside. Oh, so yeah. So Elizabeth has Gurriel. Yep, Gurriel, but can't get the bingo. It'd be great if somebody had him but could get a bingo. And obviously, preferably not in the first. Ooh. That is a 75-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Oh, and there's Kazakhs again. Kazakhs has come back. Does not have Gurriel, though. So the count is 1-2. Ooh, low and outside again. Ball 2. Let's see if we can find somebody with Gurriel who is actually in a critical position. Oh, there's Chirinos. Let's see, Gurriel. Why is it so hard to find Gurriel? Gurriel. We might actually have to stick with my board because if nobody else has him. Ooh, and there's another breaking ball outside, actually in the dirt, turned into a wild pitch. So that's going to be ball 3. So the count now is 3-2 with no outs. And Petit might be struggling early in this game. And there's Gurriel, but again, can't do any points for them. So Gurriel, the 3-2 pitch, and that is low and far outside. So that's ball 4. So Gurriel gets the walk. So the tying run is now on first base, and Gurriel gets me 1.5 points. So my rank now has gone up from a 80 to a very solid 79 out of 87. But now if Altuve gets on base, I will have a very mild bingo, I will still get a bingo. But Robinson Chirinos is coming up. And there's no outs, 1 on base. Chirinos is 0 for 2 in the day, a 231 average, a 767 on base percentage, and 13 home runs. So let's just take a look. And again, I am 50 points back, 54 points back of first place. And again, we're talking about just, this is done purely out of bingos. 4 bingo counts to my 1, and that's where I've really struggled in terms of selecting players. And Chirinos pops one up into the infield, and Marcus Semien is there for the catch, so that is now 1 away. So Josh Riddick, 0 for 2 on the day, 266 batting average, 696 batting average, 10 home runs on the year. There's 1 away. We're in the top of the 7th. Houston is down 6-5. And Riddick, let's see if somebody has Riddick. Zeppelin, do you have Riddick? You do not. Riddick. Ooh, Springer would be good for them. Ooh, wow. Olsen is. Wow, Bregman gets anything for them. They're going to jump way up the boards. All right. Looks like a stolen base, but that one is fouled away. So Gurriel will have to return. You can see that one right from the start. He had a huge jump, and there's the call right there. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, I get it. I get it. Lucky fan who got the foul ball. And again, you have to be careful when you're looking to get those foul balls because they can come at you in a hurry. But like I said, if you're going to catch it, you got to actually make the catch. Simeon, Piscotti, nobody has Riddick. Sylvester, do you have Riddick? No, you do not. See, a lot of players just have points on the board, myself included, but just don't have the bingos, and that's been kind of the, you know, the determining factor here. And there's another foul ball. Let's see. Humphrey, you have... No, you do not. So again, once you get to that lower half of the batting lineup, it's hard to find players who are actually on boards, and I can't blame them because a lot of the bottom three in the batting lineup I very, very rarely have on my board. Again, there's bingos that are potentially lined up, and they are pitching out wide, hopefully maybe trying to get that pick off at second, because I think they're anticipating Gurriel to make the steal. But so we are in the top of the seventh. There's 2 away. The count is 1-2. And the tying run is on first. And again, that is fouled up. But Matt Chapman is there for the catch. And that is going to be 3 away. Or 2 away. Sorry, 2 away. So there we go. So there's now 2 away. The tying run on first. And so we are going to go back to the top of the lineup with George Springer. And for whatever reason, I do not have George Springer on my board. And I actually, for the life of me, do not know why I don't. But Springer's there, but not going to do much for them. If we can find somebody with Springer in a good position. And again, this is going to be very critical. This is a very, very critical inning for Houston to actually see if they can make a comeback here. There's Springer on Nicholas's board, but again, won't get them a bingo. Basics, do you have Springer? Yes, you do, but again, you can't do much with him. Ooh, and Springer gets a piece of it. That is a quick shot to the shortstop. And there we go. That is another out. There's a toss it to the second baseman. So that ends the inning. So unfortunately, Houston does not score, or Houston scores 1 run, but does not score the second, leaving the tying run, getting the tying run out at second. So that will, again, end the inning. And we will have to wait to see if Houston can come back. Now, they are inching their way back, but we will have to see how the new pitching for Houston goes and kind of how that plays out for the rest of the game. But if we go to the boards, we can take a look and see what is happening. And I don't think there's going to be much change in the game, as again, Elizabeth is now at 91 points. But Oakland's pitching is still in the negative. So if this is the time for Houston to really take advantage of what... Sorry. So I mean, in terms of the bingo, this is where Houston, or myself specifically, because I think I'm the only person who chose Houston, is able to take advantage of the points that I can get on the board. So I'm going to have to rely a lot on how the Houston pitcher does this inning. Again, haven't seen a lot of strikeouts this game, so that is going to be the focus. Now, strikeouts are where you're going to get the most points out of your pitcher. Not always the easiest to come by. You might get 4 or 5 a game, and I think we are only sitting at 2 of them right now. But obviously, those strikeouts are negated, significantly negated, because we've allowed 6 runs, or if you're on the Oakland side, you've allowed 5 runs. So something to be aware of. But we will have to see, because we need to start banking points and we need our diagonals to be doing a lot more, like an Alvarez, like a Brantley, and like an Altuve. So again, we need to get a double. So if we could get something like, you know, Brantley, you know, it's actually tough. I don't know which one I would rather. I would definitely want to, like at this point, I would like to get a double bingo, but I really just want to take advantage of the fact that we can get bingos in general. So to do that, you know, if we could get the vertical with Simeon, if we can get the horizontal with Piscotty, if we can get the horizontal with Alvarez, or if we can actually get Michael Brantley pitching Alvarez in the diagonal and then get the horizontal at the same time, that would be the ideal situation. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens. So Hector Rondon is still in the game. Again, with a 3.77 ERA. We'll have to see kind of how that plays out for Houston. Marcus Semien is up, and Semien is on my board. So again, as we talked about before, if he does get on base here, if he gets a single, my Houston pitcher score will go down from 2-1, but I will still get the bingo. So really won't get much points out of that one. And the first pitch is a strike on an 86-mile-an-hour slider. It counts 0-1. Now, Semien is 0-for-3 on the day, but does have a 270 batting average, 823 on-base percentage, and 19 home runs. So, who else has Semien on there? Ooh, wow. That one was, and Rondon is not playing games. That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Very, 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 very inside. Wow. I don't know what I would do if I had a 97-mile-an-hour ball coming right at my ball. So that one was too close for me. Ooh, and there. And Rondon is letting Semien know what's up and telling him to back off the plate a little bit. Sends the last two balls inside, and they were fast. So again, we will need strikeouts, though. Strikeouts are going to be more beneficial for us at this point than a simple base hit or a bingo even. And there is a strike right there down the middle, 87-mile-an-hour slider. The count is 2-2. But let's see, Semien is right there. Won't get a bingo, but will get them points, which seems to be the case for most people. Semien, again, won't get a bingo, but will get points. Ooh, the 2-2 pitch is low and outside on an 88-mile-an-hour slider. The count is now 3-2. Now, worst case scenario is that if Semien actually gets walked here, that would be horrible for my board, and that would be horrible for everybody, I think. Let's see. So I'm having a hard time finding Semien on a board that's going to actually score. Ooh, and Semien drives it deep, but that is right. That is foul, just foul. But you can see Josh Riddick made a very, very valiant attempt at getting that out. I think they know at this point they need to just start getting outs instead of having to rely on the pitching. So that's probably, because normally you wouldn't see your right fielder make that much of an attempt for a foul ball. But okay, so let's see if we can find Blitzcrank. Seen that name before? Nothing. And there we go. There's a two-hopper to the shortstop, Carlos Correa, and that is in time for the easy out. So, bam. So one away. So Marcus Semien is now 0-for-4 on the day. Probably the best case scenario I could have on my board, because that's going to negate points on either side. So Semien doesn't go into the minus, but I don't get any points from my pitching either. So in terms of how low my pitching score is and avoiding any negative scores, best case scenario that you can actually ask for. But Robbie Grossman is up 1-for-3 on the day, 252 average, 722 on base percentage, 6 home runs, one of them which was earlier in the game, in the fourth inning, I believe. And that first pitch is a ball. The 0-1 pitch, outside, ball 2. So if we look at who has Grossman, because I believe there's a few players who scored a lot earlier who had Grossman. And again, so this is a very, very good example of why the importance of having fouled out strategic positioning of your players is because of these bingos. You know, the top few players that we're looking at all have multiple bingos. Great catch. Great catch. Oh, and he gives it to the kid. Now that is what you got to do. Saves the kid's life by catching it in his face. Oh, that's not good. And Grossman goes deep, but they're at the warning track, and Springer gets him. So that is 2 away. So Robbie Grossman goes 1 for 4 now on the day. Thought he might have his second home run, but that one is a no-go. And Springer is there for the catch. So that is actually 3 away. Sorry, my fault. That is 3 away. So that actually ends the inning. So that is what we needed to get out of the 7th inning. So now we go to the top of the 8th. And we will have to see kind of how everybody's shaken up. And I am still sitting in 79th place. But let's just give it a moment. Maybe it'll update. So there we go. So Houston's pitching now has 5 points. And I'm still in 79th place, unfortunately. But we will see how that plays out. Bop. All right. So let's go back to the main board. And Elizabeth is still in first place with a score of 91.35 points. Again, the critical positioning and the strategic positioning of players to accumulate these bingos is some luck, but it is also numbers. And I think with Olsen and Chapman were both surprises in terms of in terms of home runs. So that was pure luck, I think, in terms of those two players. Because Chapman got his, was it Chapman or Olsen? One of them got their first home run of the season, and that was just, like I said, that was just complete, the mathematical improbabilities become highly probable in baseball. That is going to be my catchphrase from now on. So get used to that, because I'm going to say it a lot, and I've said it a lot already, but it's very true, especially when you're dealing with something like baseball, and obviously when you're dealing with fantasy sports like RankingBall. So these things matter, and it's something to be aware of. So let's see here. Who else is up here that could? Now they are eligible for a bingo. They're second place. BSBBBB is in second place and is eligible for a bingo if the Oakland A's get 1 strikeout here. Now Jose Altuve is up. Now he has been struggling all day. He has been 0 for 3, but he still has a 304 average and a 922 on-base percentage and 22 home runs. So this is what we need. And just letting you guys know, we do have a pitching change. So now we have Blake Trenian with a 4.74 ERA. So hopefully Gurriel has luck with him. And on that first pitch, it goes to shallow right center field. And Steven Piscotty is there to get the easy out. And when Altuve actually did that bat flip, I thought that one might have been going a lot deeper, but clearly wasn't. So Altuve is now 0 for 4 on the day. And this is the kind of statistical anomalies that you're going to see. A player like Jose Altuve, who has a 304 batting average, is now 0 for 4 on the day, and because we're in the top of the 8th, we probably won't see him again, and he is in a very critical spot on my board, as you can see in that top right corner, to get the diagonal, but is -1 because of the strikeout. So you can play the numbers, but sometimes things just don't go your way. Again, mathematical improbabilities. So Michael Brantley, though, 2 for 3 on the day, a 330 batting average, and 17 home runs on the year. Again, will not necessarily get me a bingo, but will set up that Yordan Alvarez, providing he can do something as well. So I will take that potential right now over anything else. So what I need from Brantley is, well, at this, like, honestly, it would be great if Brantley could get a home run, and then we'll see Bregman and then Alvarez. So Bregman could get on base, and then Alvarez could homer and get everybody home as well, and that would also give Houston the lead by 2. So then the score would be 8-6, and so that's how I see it playing out in my mind. But obviously, baseball being baseball, it's not going to go like that. Well, maybe. But we will have to see, because I will need something big from Alvarez regardless, just because he is -1. So I will need more than a single out of him. Ooh, and they are calling time. And they're not showing what's happening. So it looks like, because we are going to a commercial, it looks like there is somebody on the field probably that is running around making a fool of themselves and ridiculous. I love the fact that now we do not see them and we do not give them that attention, because it is a complete waste of time for everybody. But if that is the case, I mean, clearly that whatever issue was there is now taken care of. So it might have just been something onto the field. Ooh, and that is tight and inside. So the count is 2-2. And Brantley, let's see if Brantley is on somebody else's board. That would be critical. And that one's fouled away. The count is still 2-2. It's actually hard to find. Okay, well, we'll just leave it on my board for now. Now, one of the things that I'm noticing for sure that I could have done significantly differently. Ooh, and there is a drive, and that is a fair ball. Is that not? I thought they called that one fair. I thought the third base umpire called that one fair. It looked like it was. Oh, no, okay. So I just saw the one arm, but it was hidden by the other. So he did call that one foul. So that is, again, another foul ball. The count remains 2-2. And now Blake Trinian has sitting at 8 pitches against Michael Brantley alone. And again, for a fifth time, we have a foul ball. And another young fan gets the ball. It's going to be huge for him. It's one of those things that you're going to remember for a long time. And obviously, it builds your love of the game, you know, just from that one experience, because you're going to remember it. So, and then obviously, of course, he can come back to Ranking Ball, watch the replay, and see himself on TV. And Brantley drills it deep right field, and that one is gone, and that is exactly what we needed. So that is awesome. So there we go. What did I say? I think I called that too. I said it was improbable, but I said we need Brantley to homer it. so Brantley saw the ball and sends it deep, takes him back to its seat. Bam! And just like that, Houston has tied Oakland 6-6 in the top of the 8th, and this game could go to extra innings the way these two teams are playing. Bam! And it just drives it deep. Look at that. Knew it, saw it. Beautiful. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And there's only one away. So, Bregman is up right now, and again, ooh, and that is a 94-mile-an-hour cutter, so that is strike one. Bregman is on my board. So as you can see, I've gone up to 57 points. I need Yordan Alvarez, who is on deck right now. I need Yordan Alvarez to get a big play. So if Bregman could just get on base, that would be huge. And as you can see, Elizabeth dropped 10 points now because of that pitching. And so that's going to be a huge detriment. So we are slowly climbing back up the ranks. We are rising the ranks, as I should say, through this game now. And again, this game, the point spread is very volatile, just because the point scoring can be so dramatic on one way or the other. And Bregman goes to shallow right field, and that is an easy catch by Matt Olson. So Bregman flies out, and there's now 2 away. But we had Jordan Alvarez up, and Alvarez again is going to be crucial for us at least. But we can see if somebody else has them on their board. But again, best case scenario with Bregman because he doesn't lose points for us, but he doesn't get points either. Let's see, Alvarez. Who else has Jordan Alvarez? Nope, Yuri Gurriel. Alvarez. I do not see him. I do not see him. Nicholas Alvarez. No. Let's see, Jefferson Alvarez. No. Let's see, who's number 10? Alvarez. No. I might be the only person who has Alvarez as well, which is absurd because he's got such a high batting average, which doesn't make sense to me, but you know, to each their own. Again, like I'm really choosing majority of my players based off their batting average, and then obviously it would be different if it was like if you're pitching if the opposing pitcher is someone like Hyunjin Ryu, then I might pick players differently based off of that. But realistically, I kind of, you know, even if the pitching's good, like I said, Oakland's pitching was really good at the beginning. I forget who their pitcher was now. It wasn't Sanchez. Sanchez was to Houston. But anyway, so with that pitcher, he had a better ERA than Houston's pitching and still gave up 4 runs. So, you know, and again, like I'm willing to kind of take my time in climbing the boards and rising the ranks instead of having to immediately take the lead right from the start and then be paranoid the whole game that I'm going to lose it. But it is tough when you're just waiting and waiting on bingos to happen, and players just don't necessarily perform to the exact expectation that you think that they should or would have. Oh, there's a lot of bingos. This is the same thing. This person is ranked 29th overall right now and has bingos left all over the board if they just get that one player. And, you know, I'm obviously in the same position. But if Alvarez can get a double here, like I need something. I don't need that. I don't need that strike. But that was a 85-mile-an-hour slider. Now, again, Alvarez is in the same position as Altuve, where high batting average, but just 0 for 3 on the day. Altuve now, after that last at-bat, is 0 for 4. And Alvarez drives it. Come on. Okay, so, shoot. Dang it. So that ends the inning. And, again, it doesn't look like we will get... we're not going to get that diagonal bingo at all, and we won't get that horizontal bingo either. So this could be the game for us. So we are going to have to rely on Piscotti, I think, to get just a single, and then I can get at least the horizontal and the vertical. But we'll have to see what the lineup is and how he kind of comes back from that. But it's very unfortunate that Alvarez, both Alvarez and Altuve have very, very high batting averages, you know, well above 300. And neither of them are producing anything offensively today, both going 0 for 4 on the day. But again, statistical anomalies, mathematical anomalies, and it is what it is. So now I've dropped down, because of that, I've dropped down to 64th place. So realistically, it's going to be interesting because we're going into the bottom of the 8th now with a tie game. So I assume at this point we will... Unless Oakland takes a lead here, we will be going to the bottom of the 9th. But this is getting exciting, let me tell you. So for Houston to come back, though, that's something else. But let's check the boards again. So, again, still Oakland is in that minus for the pitching, but does have 84 points still in first place. Who else is there? Not much change from the top 4. And again, if Springer gets any hits, man, that would be huge. That would probably put Kalia Hope into first because they would get the vertical there, and then they'd also get the horizontal there, providing Springer does something. But we'll have to wait for the next inning on that one. Wow, and as you can see on the board there, it's Houston, since the 4th inning, has been consistently scoring runs in each inning, which has been able to obviously help them tie the game. So Houston is going to need that in the top of the ninth for sure to take the lead. And we have a new pitcher here, Chris Davinsky, who has a 2-1 record in 47 games this year, a 4.33 ERA. And we will have to see what he can bring out. Now, I've seen Davinsky before this season. Great pitcher. And there is a strike right off the bat on Matt Chapman. So if Houston can start getting strikeouts here, that is going to be huge. And there is a low and outside changeup, ball one. But let's see who has Chapman. Chapman right there, but cannot do anything for Elizabeth. Kalia Hope does not have Chapman. Ooh, and that is not good. That is not good. That is a deep drive. Oh my gosh. So, wow. Chapman homers for his 29th on the year. And Oakland responds again and takes the lead 7-6 over Houston in the bottom of the 8th. And that is not how you want to start an inning with Davinsky. And that will be a huge blow to my pitching score right there. I go from 5-2. And my overall rank drops again back down to 79th. And I now have a total score of 41.1. And this is not what I wanted in this game. But I have faith in Houston that they will be able to come back now. Oh, man, and that one is fouled away off a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And let's check the ranks. Elizabeth is still in first, but now has jumped again back up to 97 points because because I'm not going to assume gender here, they do have Chapman on the board, so it gives them another 6.5 points. Not eligible for that bingo yet, but dangerously close. And we do have Matt Olson up. So Matt Olson will give Elizabeth this bingo, which I think will put the game out of reach for everybody else, myself included. Are they going to get the call? And that one's a strike. That one is a swinging strike. They're going to call that one. So the count is now 1-2. And you can see Matt Olson shaking his head. He did not agree with that one. And to be honest, I don't think he actually crossed the plate. And here we go. You're going to get the replay. Oh, that one is iffy. That one is iffy. I think the umpire, the third base umpire, gave that one. Ooh, and there we go. That is what we need, and that's what Davinsky can do. Coming back after the home run, gets the strikeout against Matt Olson on an 82-mile-an-hour slider. Just drops it in there, and way to come back. And so Olson will get -1. So Elizabeth will lose a point and not get that bingo. And that is going to be good for everybody else, myself included on the board, just to kind of protect that. There we go, right there, -1. So that prevents Elizabeth from getting just that 2 bingos right there. So that is huge for us. But again, not just for us, from everybody on the board. And now there's one away. So Chris Davis is up. Chris Davis is 0 for 3 on the day. 228 batting average, 17 home runs on the year. And I do not know if we can find somebody with Davis, but we were going to take a look. Again, I think we are right in the middle of their lineup, so we should be able to find somebody who has Davis. Ooh, and Davis swings on an 81-mile-an-hour slider. And that is strike 2. So the count is 1-2. So 1-2. Chris Davis 0 for 3 on the day again. So there's 2 away, and Davinsky has given up 1 run. Ooh, right there. And that is what Houston needs out of Davinsky. He did give up a run, but that is strike 3, and that will end that will not end the inning. But that is now 2 away. So that is huge. And now we have Steven Piscotty up. And again, we have the points where Piscotty just needs a single. If Piscotty gets a single, we will have 2 bingos, and we will be able to see how high my rank can raise. I'm currently in 75th with 45.1 points. And if Piscotty gets a hit at all, we'll be able to collect some serious points there. As you can see, Carlos Correa does have 13 points. My pitching has 6 points, but we'll take a hit if there is a base run. Ooh, I see that one. I thought he might have swung on. So Davinsky, again, 4.45 ERA. But Piscotty is 0 for 2 on the day, 250 average, and it would be great if he could do something here. And wow, that one. So this is going to be a very critical at-bat for us because Piscotty, okay, there's a ball. Count is 2-2 because Piscotty is 0 for 2 on the day, but he is in a, it's usually not a critical position, but because of our lack of bingos for the day, is in a critical position to get us 2 more, which would put us, I would assume, in the top 50 at least. Ooh, and Davinsky gets him with the strike. That is strike 3, and that ends the inning. So that ends the 8th inning. And although Davinsky gave up 1 run, he was able to get 2 strikeouts there to end the inning. So great pitching from Davinsky, I would say. I'd say it balances out. But obviously, you'd like to get that home run back. But the reality is, because Piscotty now has -1, it looks like our fate is sealed in ranking ball. Unless we're able to somehow see Alvarez or Altuve again through the lineup, we won't have anybody else come up again through the lineup. So, I mean, Korea I think will come up, but again, it's just points at this time, so it won't really make a difference. We can see 68th overall, but just the lack of bingos kind of allow for that. Yep. Okay. But you can see that my pitching score is at 11, where everybody else has Oakland and they're minus. But a big thing about that is they have been able to complete multiple bingos, and that's what's given them significant points. And it would have been nice to see Piscotty get on base and at least see where we could have been had we scored another 2 bingos, especially with the points that we had for those 2 bingos. Because the reality is, unless Houston scores here at all in the top of the 9th, this will be the game. Now that being said, Houston has been able to respond, so I want to have faith that they will be able to respond again, but we will have to see. Let's see. Carlos Correa. We'll get them points, but no bingo. Let's see, who else? Basics, Korea again, points, no bingo. Points, no bingo. It's going to be very typical. It's going to be a lot of what we're going to see is just points, no bingo. That also tends to be what happens a lot in general. It's hard to always find that consistent, player that's going to have all the points. So Carlos Correa is up 2 for 3 on the day, 291 average, 948 on base percentage, and 19 home runs. And Liam Hendricks is in the game with a 156 average, hoping to close this game out. So they would have brought him in there because his ERA is so phenomenal that they just want to get the 3 outs and get the W here. Because obviously Houston, for the last 4 innings now, has been scoring runs consistently. And again, they only need 1 run to tie the game, and we will go into extra innings. And Correa gets a hit, and that one is going to be just foul as it lands just over the line. But that one was close. So another foul ball. So the count is still 0-2. And again, because Piscotty there it is, right? Just foul. So again, because Piscotty, Altuve, and Alvarez are all -1, like I said, unless we go to extra innings, we won't see those players again. So it looks like our day is going to be over. So even if Correa strikes out here and loses a point out of his 13-point total, our overall score and placement won't really matter because we are so far down on the board that it just doesn't seem like it will do any difference. Like we're not in a position where we will anything detrimental will happen where we'll lose points. But 0-2, Carlos Correa, Houston down 7-6, top of the ninth, no outs. The 0-2 pitch, low and outside. It's a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and Hendricks showing off the speed that he has, a speed that is very, very rare. But that is why they brought him in to close the game out. The count is 1-2, and again drives it into the dirt. 2-2. So you can see this is a replay of what Correa did earlier in the game. It's going deep, and that is what we need today, right now. But so here we go. 2-2 pitch, and Correa drives it to right field. But Stephen Piscotty is there to get the out, so that's one away. So now Oakland is 2 outs away from taking the W in this game, which again is, as a 2 games back in an AL West matchup, would be a huge win for them. Now again, this is the beginning of a 4-game series, but this would just help them show who belongs in the playoffs and who doesn't. Now, obviously, Houston, we know what they are capable of. We've seen their offensive production today so far on display, but unfortunately, their pitching, this would be a significantly different game had they pulled, what's that guy's name again? Aaron Sanchez. If they had pulled Aaron Sanchez earlier in the game after he had allowed 4 runs, this would be a significantly different game, I believe. And I don't necessarily know if we would see Oakland with the additional 3 runs. But Yuri Gurriel is up 1 for 2 on the day, 307 average. And there, in the dirt, 85-mile-an-hour curveball. Count is 1-1. Now Gurriel does have 1.5 points, but as I mentioned before, it doesn't really make a difference when all of the players on my board will not come back through the lineup. Because after Gurriel, we have Chirinos and Reddick before we go through Springer and then Altuve. And there it goes. There is a drive to left field, but Robbie Grossman is there for the out, and that is now 2 away. So here in the top of the ninth, Houston is down 6-7 against Oakland. And they are 1 out away from getting the loss here. So we have Robert Chirinos in, who is now 0 for 3. And you can see exactly why Oakland has brought in Liam Hendricks to close this game out and get them the win. And again, Chirinos was not on a lot of people's boards. But as I mentioned before, it won't really make a difference at this point in the game for anybody. Looks like the overall scores are pretty much decided. Ooh, and that was going to be a strike. Oh, wow, they called that one safe. The first base umpire is feeling generous and allowed Chirinos to get away with that on ball 1. Again, very generous of the first base umpire. I believe he wants to see more baseball tonight, so he's going to try to drag this game on. And there's a strike right there. So the count is 1-1. So now we are 2 strikes away from ending this game and Oakland getting the L. So Hendricks, this would be huge for him. And again, this would be huge for Oakland. Ooh, and there's a very, very fast 98.7 mile per hour fastball. The count is 2-1, and that is a high fastball. So we are still 2 strikes away, and you can see Oakland fans are nervous right now. They are on their feet. They are waiting for this out right now. And Trios gets a piece of it, but that is easily caught by Matt Chapman, who tosses it very easily to Matt Olson, and that is the out. That ends the game, and Houston takes the win in the first of 4 seasons in this AL West matchup, 7-6 over the Houston Astros, and that is the game, ladies and gentlemen. A great game by both teams. Just shows the Oakland Athletics, their desire to be in the playoffs and their fight to stay in the game, and it was very exciting to see teams trade scores back to back to back. Unfortunately, the A's just got one too many. Now, this is a very, very different game if you pull Sanchez in the 4th inning after Oakland scores those 4 runs, because again, they kept him through the 6th inning, and he allowed another 2 runs and back-to-back homers to lose this game. And I think if you pull him in that 4th, different game. But not my place to decide. Let's check the boards again one last time. As you can see, I finished 71st overall. Now, that is the worst finish I have had in a long time. But part of that is because Jose Altuve, Steven Piscotty, and Yordan Alvarez all finished with -1 and never actually got me more than 1 bingo. And that was what I was relying on. Now, it's a surprise because Alvarez and Altuve both have well over 300 for their batting average. I believe Altuve is 304 and Alvarez is at 333. Just going to click that. Okay, so that can't... So it's very interesting to see the game. So that's going to be it for us today. Thank you for joining us for this AL West matchup between the Athletics and the Astros. We will see you next time. And don't forget to check your RankingBall.com as well as your mobile applications for all of your latest Ranking Ball scores and updates. So from all of us here, I want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.